Welcome to Competex Weekly MCQ Manthan, where we'll be discussing the important MCQs based on that week's current affairs. In this video, we'll be discussing the MCQs based on the current affairs of the first week of December 2024. Now, before we go ahead, let's talk something about this initiative. This initiative by Competex tries to give you high quality MCQs based on recent current affairs which are aligned with the UPSC CSE Prelims PYQ standards. Now, we'll also be providing you concise explanations and tricks to solve questions quickly and accurately. Also, we'll be focusing on some elimination techniques as well as mnemonics to ensure that you recall the content in a better manner. Remember that weekly practice ensures gradual improvement. Subscribe and hit the bell icon to never miss an update from us. Now, coming to the first question, sometimes seen in news, the Bletchley process is generally associated with which of the following sectors? Option A, artificial intelligence governance. Option B, renewable energy innovation. Option C, cryptocurrency regulation. Option D, sustainable agriculture. Now, I would request you all to please pause the video and try to attempt this MCQ. You can comment your answers through the comment section. Now, hope you have attempted this MCQ. Now, the answer for this particular MCQ is A, artificial intelligence governance. The Bletchley process refers to an international initiative aimed at establishing global standards and governance mechanisms for artificial intelligence. The key focus area of this process include AI safety, ensuring responsible deployment of generative AI models, and addressing challenges posed by AI in military systems. The International Renewable Energy Agency for the option of renewable energy innovation, Financial Action Task Force, which is an intergovernmental body that oversees global cryptocurrency standards, and Indian government initiatives like Zero Budget Natural Farming and Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana for sustainable agriculture initiatives. Coming to the second question, that is, consider the following statements with respect to India's female labor force participation rate, LFPR. First statement, India's LFPR was 37% in 2022-23. Second statement, India's LFPR has been decreasing since 2017-18. Third statement, urban India has more LFPR than rural India. How many of the statements above are correct? Option A, only one. Option B, only two. Option C, all three. Option D, none. The answer for this MCQ is option A, only one. As per the Periodic Labour Force Survey 2022-23, India's female LFPR stood approximately at 32%, which is a significant improvement from previous years, but it is still lower than the global standards. The global standards, as per World Bank, is 47%. Coming to the statement 2, India's LFPR has been increasing since 2017-18 after hitting a low of 17.5% in that year. The factors which have contributed to the rise of higher enrollment in the workforce include economic recovery after the COVID pandemic, better access to education, and government initiatives promoting women's employment. Female LFPR in rural India is higher than urban India due to the prevalence of women working in agriculture and informal sectors. In urban areas, the participation of women is lower due to cultural norms, safety concern, and lack of flexible work opportunities. That's the reason the statement 3 is incorrect. The third question, the Epuru Sudhakar case of Supreme Court of India 2006 is closely associated with which of the following issues? Option A, presidential pardon under Article 72. Option B, right to education under Article 21A. Option C, disqualification of MLAs under 10th schedule. Option D, land acquisition under the Right to Fair Compensation and Transparency Act. Now please pause the video and try to attempt this MCQ and comment your answers. Answer for this MCQ is A. Presidential pardon under Article 72. The Epuru Sudhakar versus Government of Andhra Pradesh 2006 case dealt with the scope and limitation of clemency powers of President under Article 72 and the Governor under Article 161 of the Indian Constitution. The Supreme Court held that the exercise of clemency powers is subject to judicial review if it is arbitrary, discriminatory, or malified. The judgment emphasized that these powers are not absolute and must conform to constitutional principles. Now, one tip that you can use to remember this answer is the name in itself. That is a mnemonic. So, Epuru Sudhakar. So, Sudhakar can be considered as Sudhara, which in Hindi is clemency. So, this is a good type of trick through which you can remember the Epuru Sudhakar case through Sudhar, that is clemency in Hindi. Coming to the other options mentioned in this question, some of the judgments related to Article 21A are Unni Krishnan versus the state of Andhra Pradesh and Mohini Jain versus the state of Karnataka. The 10th schedule of Indian Constitution deals with anti-defection law, where the Kyoto-Holohan case is one of the important judgments relating to the anti-defection provisions mentioned in the 10th schedule. The right to fair compensation and transparency in land acquisition and Rehabilitation and Resettlement Act governs the process of land acquisition in India. Cases like the Indore Development Authority versus Manohar Lal 2020 are relevant to land acquisition disputes. Coming to the next question. Sometimes seen in news, the terms Raqqa, Hama and Deir ez-Zor are related to option A. Disputed towns of Lebanon, option B. Tourist places in Jordan, option C. Pilgrimage sites in Iraq, option D. Cities in Syria. So please pause the video here and try to attempt this MCQ and comment your answers. So the answer to this MCQ is D. Cities in Syria. The cities of Raqqa, Hama and Deir ez-Zor are in news due to the recent takeover of or the downfall of Syrian regime due to the anti-government or resistant forces. In this context, you should also know about the other cities which are important in context of Syria, like Aleppo, Idlib, Damascus and Raqqa, along with the Hama and Deir ez-Zor. Now, coming to the other options which are incorrect, you can also see that the disputed towns in Lebanon include areas along the blue line, such as Kafr Shuba, whereas in Jordan we have cities like Petra, Wadi Rum and the Dead Sea. Iraq's pilgrimage sites are predominantly Shia Muslim shrines in cities like Karbala and Najaf. Coming to the cities mentioned in the question, Raqqa was the de facto capital of ISIS during its reign in the 2014-15 era, whereas Deir ez-Zor was a strategic city near the Euphrates River. Now in this context, it is also important that you know the important rivers, mountain ranges in this region, like the Tigris River, Euphrates River or the Zagros Mountain. Coming to the next question, that is the fifth question. Consider the following statements with reference to euthanasia in India. Here, you should understand the meaning of euthanasia first because it is always in news. In this context, the first statement is right to die with dignity is part of fundamental right under Article 21. The second statement is active euthanasia is legally recognized in India. And the third statement is living will related guidelines are closely associated with euthanasia in India. Which of the statements above is or are correct? Option A, 1 and 2 only. Option B, 2 and 3 only. Option C, 1 and 3 only. Option D, 1, 2 and 3. Now please pause the video and try to attempt this MCQ. The correct answer for this MCQ is option C, 1 and 3 only. Here the statement second is incorrect, that is active euthanasia is legally recognized in India is an incorrect statement. We will see how. Here the Supreme Court of India in the landmark case Common Cause versus Union of India judgment. Now it is important here to remember judgments in their context. Here the Common Cause case is dealing with euthanasia or right to die in India. So the Supreme Court in this case held that the right to die with dignity is an integral part of right to life, which is under Article 21 of the Constitution. This ruling upheld the legality of passive euthanasia in India. Now, through this statement, you will understand that why statement 2 is incorrect, because the judgment and Supreme Court rulings thereafter have upheld the passive legality of passive euthanasia in India and not active euthanasia. Active euthanasia is not legalized in India. While passive euthanasia is legally recognized in India, active euthanasia, that is, direct administration of lethal substances to end patient's life, it is not permitted in India. The Supreme Court has categorically allowed only passive euthanasia, that too under strict conditions such as consent and medical board approvals. Active euthanasia involves deliberate intervention as seen in countries like Netherlands, but it is not part of Indian law. That's the reason the statement 2 is incorrect. In this context, you can have a normal mnemonic like passive peace, active prohibition. That is, passive is allowed and active is prohibited. Now, coming to the third statement, a living will or advance medical directive is a legal document where a person specifies their wishes for medical treatment, including withdrawal of life support. The Supreme Court judgments of the Common Cause judgment in 2018 provided detailed guidelines on how a living will can be implemented, requiring approvals from witnesses, a judicial magistrate, and medical boards. The 2023 modification of the guidelines streamlined the process to make it less cumbersome, but awareness and implementation remain limited. Coming to the next question, the geographical location of Kumbh Mela spans over 4 locations in India. Which one of the following is not one of these 4 locations? Option A, Rishikesh. Option B, Ujjain. Option C, Prayagraj. Option D, Nashik. Now please pause the video and try to attempt this MCQ and comment your answers. So the correct answer for this question is option A, Rishikesh. The Kumbh Mela, as you might be knowing, represents not just locations, but they are sacred confluences of spiritual, astronomical, and cultural significance. Each site is meticulously chosen based on specific astrological configuration, showcasing the intricate relationship between celestial movements and religious practices. Here, Rishikesh, located in Uttarakhand on the banks of river Ganges, is a renowned spiritual town known for yoga and meditation, but it is not one of the 4 designated locations for Kumbh Mela. Ujjain in Madhya Pradesh is one of the 4 designated locations for Kumbh Mela. The festival celebrated here on the banks of the Shipra river. You should also remember the rivers associated with the places of cultural significance, along with the important temples, where in the case of Ujjain, it is the Mahakaleshwar Jyotirling temple. These are significant for devotees. The Ujjain Kumbh Mela is also known as the Simhastha Kumbh because it is held when Jupiter is in the Leo, that is Simha zodiac sign as per Hindu astrology. Prayagraj in Uttar Pradesh, which is the formerly Allahabad, hosts the Kumbh Mela at the confluence of Ganga, Yamuna and the mythical Saraswati river. Also, it is also known as the Triveni Sangam. This site holds the most significant Kumbh Mela, often referred to as Mahakumbh Mela, which occurs every 12 years. Nashik in Maharashtra is another designated site for Kumbh Mela. The event takes place on the banks of the Godavari river, with the Trimbakeshwar Shiva temple being a key pilgrimage site. Coming to the next question, consider the following statements with respect to PRAGATI system. PRAGATI system is a multi-purpose platform aimed at resolving public grievances and monitoring key government projects. Statement 2, it integrates data from e-Samiksha and CPgrams for real-time tracking and resolution. Statement 3, PRAGATI meetings are chaired by Finance Minister of India every week. How many of the statements above are correct? Option A, only 1. Option B, only 2. Option C, only 3. Option D, none. Now please pause the video and mark the correct answer and comment your answer. The answer for this particular question is option B, only 2. The statement 3 here is incorrect. as Pragati meetings are chaired by the Prime Minister of India and not the Finance Minister of India. Pragati means proactive governance and timely implementation. It is an ICT based platform developed to facilitate real time resolution of public grievances and monitor key government projects and also review the progress of flagship schemes. Pragati integrates data from multiple platforms like CPgrams, eSamiksha and other government databases to ensure comprehensive and real-time tracking of issues. This enhances efficiency and transparency in governance. The Pragati meetings are chaired by Prime Minister once a month and not every week, and also not by the Finance Minister of India. These meetings bring together officials from central and state governments to resolve the interdepartmental and interstate issues quickly. The Prime Minister has used the Pragati to address bottlenecks in projects related to national highway, urban development, and rural electrification. Now, here, one of the mnemonics that you can use is Pragati. You can use it as a short form of PM's active review of governance. As we have seen, it is an initiative under the Prime Minister of India. Coming to the next question, sometimes seen in news, the Lekki deep sea port is located in which of the following regions? Option A, East Asia. Option B, West Africa. Option C, East Europe. Option D, South America. Please pause the video and try to attempt this MCQ and comment your answers down below. The answer for this MCQ is B, West Asia. The Lekki deep sea port, which was inaugurated in 2023, is located in Lagos, Nigeria. Nigeria is a country which is located in Western African region. The port is funded by China and it is one of the largest in West Africa. Now, why it is important for us? It is part of China's Belt and Road Initiative. You all must be knowing China's BRI initiative. I request you all to please read more about this initiative and the locations and regions associated with it, because they become important from our international relations perspective. Now, here another mnemonic that you can use for this particular MCQ is, if you are aware of the fact that Lagos is the capital of Nigeria, you can just try to relate Lekki with Lagos. Coming to the next question, in context of modern Indian history, the terms Rawani, Napit and Sutradhar are associated with which of the following statements? Option A, caste groups. Option B, nomadic communities. Option C, shifting occupational identities. Option D, tribal groups. Now, please pause the video and try to attempt this MCQ and comment your answers. The answer for this MCQ is option A, caste groups. The terms Rawani, Napit and Sutradhar refer to caste groups that appeared in the 1921 and 1931 British censuses in India. Here, Rawani or Kahar claimed Vaishya status in 1921, whereas in the 1931 caste census, they claimed a Kshatriya status. Napit transitioned from Vaidya in 1921 to Brahman in 1931, whereas Sutradhar shifted from Vaishya in 1921 to Brahman in 1931. In context of the recent caste census debate in India, these factors become important because the last published caste census in India was during the colonial times. That's the reason these terms were in news through various articles in the important newspapers for UPSC, that is the Indian Express as well as the Hindu newspaper. Coming to the next question, recently seen in news, the PROBA 3 Project for Onboard Autonomy mission is associated with which of the following? Option A, demonstrating precise formation flying in space. Option B, studying the sun's corona using solar imaging. Option C, testing quantum communication technologies in space. Option D, observing atmospheric changes on Mars. Please pause the video and try to attempt this particular MCQ. The correct answer for this particular MCQ is option A, demonstrating precise formation flying in space. Here, this mission is an in-orbit demonstration mission of European Space Agency, Its primary objective is to demonstrate the precise formation of flying of two spacecraft in orbit, an advanced technique critical for missions that require extreme precision, like large telescopes or interferometers when they are placed in the orbit of Earth. The other options that have been given in this MCQ have examples like the Aditya L1 mission of ISRO. It is dedicated to studying the sun, including its corona, chromosphere, and solar winds, whereas China's Metis satellite is a mission which is testing the quantum communication technologies such as secure quantum key distribution over long distances, whereas NASA's MAVEN Mars Atmosphere and Volatile Evolution mission is designed to study Mars atmosphere and its interaction with solar wind. Coming to the next question, consider the following statements with respect to United Nations Security Council. Statement 1. UNSC has 15 members including 5 permanent members and 10 non-permanent members. Statement 2. All decisions of UNSC require a unanimous vote of all its members. Statement 3. India has never been a permanent member of UNSC. How many of the statements above are correct? Option A, only 1. Option B, only 2. Option C, all 3. Option D, none. Please pause the video and attempt this MCQ and comment your answers. Option B, only 2. Here, the statement 2, that is, all decisions of UNSC require a unanimous vote of all its members, is incorrect statement. We will see why. First, the United Nations Security Council comprises of 15 members with 5 permanent members which are known as P5. Which are these P5 countries? China, France, Russia, United Kingdom and the United States of America. The 10 non-permanent members are elected for a 2-year term by the United Nations General Assembly, which ensures regional representations across the world. The non-permanent seats are distributed as per the various regions given in this slide. The decisions of the UNSC require a majority vote and not a unanimous vote. They require a majority vote of 9 out of 15 members, including the affirmative votes of all 5 permanent members. So, the unanimous votes are required of the permanent members rather than the non-permanent members. If any of the P5 member uses its veto power, the resolution cannot pass regardless of the majority vote. So here we understand that why P5 countries are important and why the permanent membership of UNSC is important. Coming to the third statement, India has served as a non-permanent member of UNSC 8 times, with most recently being in 2021 and 22. However, India has never been a permanent member despite its strong advocacy for reforms in UNSC. That's the reason the statement 3 is correct. Along with it, India supports the G4 grouping, that is India, Japan, Germany and Brazil, who push for reforms and permanent membership in the UNSC for these 4 countries. Coming to the next question, consider the following statements with reference to the Cyclone Fengal. Statement 1. Initially, it moved at a fast pace. Statement 2. It remained stationary for a while after making landfall. Which of the statements above is or are correct? Option A, 1 only. Option B, 2 only. Option C, both 1 and 2. Option D, neither 1 nor 2. Please pause the video and try to attempt this MCQ and comment your answers. The correct answer for this MCQ is option B, 2 only. The statement 1, that is initially it moved at fast pace, is an incorrect statement. Now why we are seeing such a cyclone which has occurred recently in such detail, we will understand through the explanation given in the MCQ. Cyclone Fengal was characterized by its slow pace from its genesis to landfall. Generally, cyclones are known by their high speeds which cause destructions, but in this case, Cyclone Fengal had a slower speed than the usual cyclones. This slow moving cyclone allows for a prolonged rainfall and stronger wind impact over specific areas. This increases the extent of damage. That's the reason even after being a slow cyclone, this was in news because it caused extensive damage. In this context, one mnemonic that you can remember based on the name of the cyclone, Fengal, F for fixed storm. This can be remembered for it being stationary after landfall, which is the statement 2 of our MCQ, which is a correct statement where after making a landfall near Puducherry, cyclone Fengal remained stationary for nearly 12 hours, which is uncommon for cyclones. Normally, cyclones weaken rapidly after landfall due to friction from buildings and trees. However, Fengal maintained its intensity during this stationary phase, resulting in exceptionally heavy rainfall and flooding of rivers and lakes, particularly in Tamil Nadu and Puducherry. That's the reason we have framed this MCQ, because this cyclone has showed unusual behavior, which makes it important from our UPSC Prelims perspective. The infographic given in this slide can also be accessed by you through our Telegram channels as well as our website. So we request you all to please use the Telegram channel as well as our website to attempt multiple MCQs daily, which are based on the current. So thank you everyone for watching this particular video. We hope to continue this series based on the response that we get from students. Thank you.